is 30. Jose Aldo, the taller man by an inch. Volkanovski will enjoy a reach advantage of 1.5 inches. All right, now for the introduction, Holloway. Jose Aldo wearing the yellow trunks. Alexander Volkanovski is in black. He said he wants to get Aldo thinking in there, Dom, make him answer questions in his head. We'll see if he can do just that.
Sorry, Andy. We haven't seen Aldo throw that low kick in a long time, and I think that is going to be one of the main weapons he's going to need to use to dismantle the pressure of Volkanovski as this fight goes on. So I'm curious to see if he brings that back in this matchup.
Volkanovski's smiling the whole time. He's excited to be here. He's loving it. He's living in it.
He's in it.
But right away, you see Aldo just keeping the center, taking the center, not allowing Volkanovski to just back him up quite yet.
Nemiroff, bold character since 1872. Jose Aldo didn't come away overly impressed with the film on Alexander Volkanovski. He felt like Chad Mendes had better wrestling, and as you saw in that feature there just now, he said, I expect this to be easier than everyone thinks. We shall see.
Volkanovski said how important it was to get Aldo to bite on feints. That was super key in his matchup, and right now, Aldo's not biting on much.
Aldo's hands looked faster than ever in his last win over Renato Moicano. That was February 2nd of this year. Seven successful title defenses for Jose Aldo during his first UFC reign. His rematch with Chad Mendes at UFC 179, October 2014, will go down as one of the best fights in UFC history.
Yes.
Right now, Volkanovski's trying to get Aldo to react. That's all he's doing. That's why he's touching, tapping the legs. He's trying to get Aldo to react, to read how Aldo's looking to counter Volkanovski. But right now, Aldo's not biting and he's pressuring.
This was very key for Volkanovski. He needs to get Aldo going backwards. He's got to be the guy pressuring to make Aldo tired. Even Max Holloway in the Holloway fights, Holloway was able to just keep touching him, and being tough enough to take the damage to wear Aldo out.
City Kickboxing's Eugene Behrman among those in the corner of Alexander Volkanovski. He lands a couple leg kicks, body strikes now from Aldo.
And I swear Volkanovski doesn't really wake up until you hit him a few times. And that's what we're seeing here. Once he got hit in the stomach, all right, you're going to start seeing these guys wake up in a moment once they tag each other.
Same thing though, right? Volkanovski just getting more going to this point. Aldo's watching, like you say, making his reads, but he hasn't done all that much. Volkanovski's the one that's kind of doing a lot of the actions right now.
And amazing to think that Volkanovski looks like the naturally smaller man in here, despite getting as high as 220 pounds in his rugby league career. Aldo seems to be in a pretty good focused groove here early.
I mean, in no country do you hear support like this. Could only wish for that back home in the United States.
I think the Aussies and the Canadians might respectfully disagree, but don't want to leave anybody
right.
out.
Ooh. I mean, every time someone, Aldo taps him, there's just the whole place goes crazy. There's that low kick. He's going to be needing that, Aldo.
It's been Volkanovski to this point, though, that's landed the majority of the kicks. The inside leg kick already has Aldo a little bit red.
And Volkanovski said that's what he was going to have to do, is throw the kicks before Aldo does, and then Aldo can't throw his, and that's what's happened. The numbers say it.
Volkanovski has done his research, right? Taking Aldo down against the side of the octagon on the leg has always proven to be very difficult. So the approach is a little bit different. Get in tight, grab on him, hold on him, hopefully wear him down, and then to get your takedowns later, or beat him like Holloway did.
Aldo loads up on the right hand, nothing doing. Volkanovski can go all day. We're scheduled for 15 minutes max here in this one.
And Aldo said 15 minutes after fighting 25 for so long.
Right.
He can go much, much harder.
Nice knee from Aldo. The unauthorized reproduction or distribution of this copyright work is illegal and punishable under law. Dom, you seem to like what you heard out of one of those corners.
Yeah, I like Aldo's corner that they got to get the respect out of Volkanovski. They're saying, you got to hit him, man. You can't just sit and wait anymore. Like DC was saying, he's waiting too much. And his coach, Aldo's coach just said that. You got to go get the respect from this guy.
You got to get started. He said you got to get started.
Volkanovski right back to work, just touching the inside of Aldo's lead leg.
What I like about Volkanovski touching the leg like that is, like I said, that makes him longer. So now he follows up that kick with his hands. And that's what makes him so effective, is he doesn't just throw his hands being short. He throws his kicks first and then follows his kicks with his hands, being a shorter, powerful fighter.
And as such, starting to find a home for that right hand over the top. Well, one thing you knew about Alexander Volkanovski, he was not going to be intimidated by the atmosphere nor the opponent. Off to a pretty good start through 6 minutes.
He's fighting really well. Staying well within himself, fighting really well and smart.
Well, and that's a big key, staying within yourself against somebody who can turn your lights out as quickly as Jose Aldo can.
And you see it, right, in all the explosions of Aldo. They're not many to this point, but in every explosion, you see how fast and quick he still is.
I love how Volkanovski will tap the kick, and then all of a sudden he'll fake a hook, and the hook's not even looking to land. He's throwing the kick. Nice jab by Aldo there.
Yep, that drew an acknowledgement from Volkanovski. Man, Aldo's fast twitch muscles just needed the target in a blink. Not much in terms of leg kicks from Jose Aldo thus far, just a couple.
I think getting kicked first by Volkanovski is what's throwing that off. If you get kicked in the lead leg, you can't throw the back leg.
Aldo's doing a really good job of rolling these strikes. Volkanovski, every time he throws to the head, Aldo's just kind of rolling. Oh, nice jab by Volkanovski.
2-1. I like how Volkanovski faked the right hand and came up the middle with a 1. 2-1 combo is tricky, especially with the shorter fighter. You can't just throw an empty jab when you're short. And now he's faking the right, throwing the jab after.
His feints are starting to draw reactions from Aldo.
Ooh, nice elbow.
Yeah, man.
Volkanovski getting closer and closer with his strikes.
Hold on. Can you see me? Jose, wait. Listen, Alex. Stay there. Come here. Alex, there. Look at me, Jose. Stay here. Alex, away. No coaching. Okay, good. Alex. No, listen, my friend, look. No. That happens again, that's twice. That happens again. No option but a point, okay? Oh, really? Please be careful. Okay? Turn in. Right.
Very well handled by Goddard. I mean, you gotta, with the eye poke and being able to separate him and taking control of the octagon, very well handled. That's how a ref should handle an eye poke.
Yeah, a little bit of a protest from Volkanovski, but the replay clearly showed some swelling underneath the left eye of Volkanovski now. Under 2 minutes here in round 2.
Ooh, good left hand and good counter right by Aldo. Volkanovski getting to the pressure now. He looks strong here too.
And he just keeps working.
Yep.
This is what Volkanovski does. Once he gets you against the side of the octagon, he's just constantly working. He doesn't let you rest.
Those are 6 hard knees, now 7.
And those hurt. They do hurt.
They start to dead the leg.
Yep, that's big. Those are big.
Right on the nerve. It's right on that ligament. Now look at Aldo. Look at what Aldo's trying to do now to stop it.
It's annoying when people do that to you right there up against the fence. And this is why their coach, Aldo's coach, said you can't sit on the fence. Notice Aldo stays strong, but he doesn't slide his feet. He's not sliding up. There it is. Now when he starts sliding his feet, he gets out. You gotta slide your feet against the octagon. You can't stay settled. They almost got to go parallel with the fence here in order to move your hips and swivel them out from the pressure. And right now, the way Aldo sits, it just allows Volkanovski to keep him there. He needs to be sliding his hips back and forth on the fence. Almost like a paintbrush. See, there's no pummeling going on, right, DC? Why isn't Aldo pummeling? He's just holding an overhook. This is where you're so good, DC. Why don't you explain how important it is to pummel against the fence?
The overhook is it can be a good position. The vast majority of times you want to re-dig, re-pummel back inside. I mean, Dominic, what are you doing? I can't just give it all away.
That's our job, DC. It's not about you, buddy.
It's about to be.
Man, 10 minutes have just ripped off the clock as we close it down here in round 2.
Tactical battle here is beautiful.
King of Rio might just have some work to do in this third round.
Yeah, it feels...
Keep him in the fight. Who knows? Maybe being down 2 rounds to nothing to Volkanovski might freak Aldo out. I don't know, but I don't think that was the right info. I think Aldo's down 2-0 and he has to win this round or get a knockout.
They know the relationship that they have. Yep. They understand the terminology that needs to be used in the corner between rounds. I mean, this is a corner that's won multiple UFC titles. But on this night in Rio, I feel he's behind. And overall, it hasn't been the best night for Brazilian fighters. I mean, we haven't seen many guys and women get their hands raised.
Volkanovski is fighting a perfect fight right now, to be honest.
And that was a big right hand from Alexander as we show you the picture in terms of the distance strikes thrown and landed. More than twice as many for Volkanovski.
Crushes him against the fence. Exactly what he needs to do.
Volkanovski getting away with the fence grab there. Crowd didn't like it.
And for as much as people want to boo it, you know, he's effectively stopping Jose right now by keeping him inside of the octagon. He controls all those big actions that Jose usually uses in the middle of a fight.
You got to think of fence work almost like being on your back. If you stay flat with your back flat against the fence, you can't move. On the ground, if you're swiveling your hips, shrimping, moving, it's hard for people to control you. It's no different on the fence. You've got to be swiping your hips, digging underhooks, pummeling.
And there it is, and turning. Side. Yep, you got to go to the underhook side. You can't stay square. Now Aldo has to go to work. You know, he has that ability. That power he carries it very late in fights. He's got to go to work.
Nice head movement from Jose Aldo, but Volkanovski continues to throw offense his way. Jose slips in a knee.
What I'm seeing is Aldo looking for the perfect punch or the perfect kick for the knockout. And Volkanovski's willing to just work, miss, keep the offense going, and get Aldo behind while Aldo looks for the perfect knockout. And it's just not going to happen. Aldo needs to get to work, start throwing combinations, and start throwing body shots to the leg kick and things of that sort because he's way behind.
When Volkanovski tries to enter, maybe Aldo could time some knees. That would help him a lot. Just start throwing lead knees as Volkanovski tries to enter, especially when he changes to southpaw. Aldo should be digging that right knee in there.
We have crossed the midpoint now of this third and final round. Co-main event coming up next. Not much in terms of volume from Jose Aldo.
So many fights, so many big fights. You have to be up for every single one. And even as the #1 contender, right? Being the #1 contender, even after he lost his belt to Conor and then lost his belt to Max, he's always had to fight the very best the divisions had to offer. And it seems like on this night tonight, like just one, he's not really able to. It's not going as he probably intended, right? Like the body's not responding like maybe the mind's telling it to respond.
To me, DC, it looks like Aldo's fighting more not to lose than he's fighting to actually get this win. And he wants the win, but the results look like he's just fighting to not lose. He's not being super offensive. He's not throwing any combinations. He's looking for 1 to 2 punches at a time. And that's why he's so far behind right now.
Volkanovski fighting for a second underhook here, now controlling the left wrist of Aldo. And you see the total strikes round by round. Volkanovski's had the advantage statistically every step of the way.
He's just working. He's just working. Volkanovski's just working. Jose's not working to match him. You know, sometimes a fight you know is going to be very, very difficult. You're going to have to work really, really hard the whole entire time. And it just doesn't seem like Jose's right now willing to put the work in that Alexander's willing to put out.
Looking at the clock. Why are you looking at the clock right now if you're Aldo? I don't know. You got to get off the fence. You got to pummel. You got to swipe your hips. You got to move. We're behind.
And Volkanovski with these knees staying busy enough for the referee, Mark Goddard, here under 30 seconds now to go in the fight.
Stay busy, gents. Thank you.
And like you said earlier, John, I don't get starstruck very often, but I see Aldo.
Right.
And I'm starstruck. But right now, I'm not seeing him fight as I saw him fight in those last 2 fights. He was so in his game on the last 2, and on the third one, I don't feel as though he did enough to even warrant thinking when he walks to the middle that he got his hand raised. Volkanovski got it done. He fought well.
So Volkanovski and Jose Aldo go the distance. Aldo raises his hands as if he believes perhaps he has done enough to get the nod. This fight replay brought to you by Nemiroff, bold character since 1872.
Yeah, you know, the inside leg kicks of Alexander Volkanovski was the big story of this fight early. You know, he just kind of out-touched him in round 1. Although when he did explode into him, he would do really well. The jab of Aldo was sticking Volkanovski, but I think it was just the work rate that carried Alexander, not only in the middle of the octagon, but also against the side of the octagon whenever he would get into the clinch position. I mean, the numbers are staggering in the advantage side of Volkanovski.
Aldo, I mean, he just had to throw more. That's what it comes down to for me. The combinations weren't there. It was 1 to 2 punches at a time, looking for the perfect knockout strike or the highlight reel body shots. I mean, just everything looked like he wanted the highlight reel instead of just putting in the work and slowly picking at Volkanovski.
All right, the official decision is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Catch all the action with Metro by T-Mobile. Get knockout coverage on a network that rivals the big guys for way less. With that decision, the well-dressed Bruce Buff.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges score this contest 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, Alexander the Great Volkanovski.